Good morning and welcome to the Soul Shop. I am your host, Phyllis King. And as always, we're interviewing and talking with people who have interesting stories and who are inspiring and uplifting us. And today is no different. My guest is Simon Jordan from the UK, who has a great book out called Simplicity of Success, which we're going to talk a lot about. But we're going to dive into a lot of other things. But first, let's welcome him into the show. Hi, Simon.
Phyllis, my pleasure. Thank you so much for having me on here. I really appreciate give me the chance to talk. Really, it's lovely. I always say you can earn more money, but you can never earn more time. So I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Well, and me as well. And before we get into all the juicy, wonderful, delicious things about you, you know, Facebook is an amazing thing. We have a lot of complaints about it, but I discovered you through mutual friends, and you know, there's so much going on Facebook, but one day in the feed, something came up about you were doing a bike ride for a young woman who's terminally ill and has a child, and you were trying to raise some money for her. So I thought, I need to know this person. This is someone who has something we all need to hear. So, tell us a little bit about that. I just kind of want to hear what happened with that particular situation.
Well, there are no accidents in life, even though we think, well, how can this be? But when you just delve into it a bit more. So anyway, I'm a motorbiker. I love my bikes, and I was due to do. There's a ride in the UK, Land's End is on a growth street. So basically, the bottom left hand of the UK, if you look at it, to the top right. So it's Land's End to John O'Groats. And I thought, great, I'll do this. Planned it, got all my gear. We were going to be doing some wild camping in Scotland. And I was also going to do the top of Scotland. It's a lovely, famous route called the North Coast 500, the NC 500. It's 500 miles right around the top of Scotland, beautiful roads and around the lochs and stuff like that. So I set off, got to Land's End, came 10 miles back, and there's a great line which says, "Man plans and God laughs." And my bike broke down, and it was the alternator belt is shredded. It was like, oh God. Anyway, I was stranded for 19 hours by the recovery guys. Thanks for that. And I'm thinking, what is this? What is going on? My friends are sending me messages going, we're here. And I'm like, yeah, thanks for that, rubbing in. And so anyway, finally get home. So that was on the Friday. I didn't get picked up until Saturday afternoon. Monday morning, my bike's in the shop, getting my mechanic's fixing it. He's busy, so there's no chance of me getting back on the bike and getting up there. I'm feeling thoroughly kind of upset with it, and you know, why me? My only holiday, blah blah blah. And anyway, so I'm stood in the grocery store, and in front of me there's this lady and her young daughter, and I hear her saying to her daughter, "I'm gonna have an episode." So she slumps on the floor, and I'm like, "Whoa, what's going on here?" You know, you're trying to process it. And she's shaking. I'm saying, "Hey, can I do anything?" She said, "Okay, it will stop in a minute." And then when she said it stopped, and I heard her daughter say, "Mummy, can we get a cab home?" And her mum says, "We can't afford a cab." And I'm like, oh, this is terrible. So she stopped shaking. She says, now the pain kicks in. Anyway, gave her a hand. I bought her shopping for her, gave her a lift home, which was half a mile from the supermarket. It's like, you can't afford. Anyway, get in, and I just hear some of her story. So she's terminally ill. I won't go into it now. We don't have time. So many things wrong with her. She's 28 years old. Her daughter is 7. She's got a 5-year-old son. Her daughter of 7 is her carer. Let just that sink in for a moment. 7-year-old daughter. What kind of a childhood? She spends a lot of time in the wheelchair. She has so many ailments. The abbreviation is EDS. I think it's Eleanor Downs syndrome, something, but it's a whole heap of other stuff as well. And she has to spend a lot of time in the wheelchair. Her front door is not wide enough for the wheelchair to go through. So she's in social housing, and she's been looking for a mobility scooter, and the local council are not giving it to her, and yada, yada, yada. So I thought I'd go home, and that night I had an epiphany. I thought, this is why I wasn't supposed to be on this trip, which was all about me and having fun and all the rest with my friends. I was supposed to be. I've always said I'm here for a force of good. I'm here to give. And I thought, right, I'm going to do this ride again, and I'm going to do it in 24 hours, and I'm going to make it 1,000 miles. So I had to sort of adjust my route slightly to make it up to 1,000 miles. I'm going to raise a load of money, get this mobility scooter. So less than a month later from coming up with this idea, I'm always about taking massive action. Have a dream, get planning, and take massive action. two guys, two biking friends of mine said, do you want company? I went, yeah, okay, let's go for it. And then when they had my friend's business, he had one of the guys drive a van, so he was a support van. Anyway, 23rd of September, I set off here from midnight from home. And then 10:30 at night, the following day, we reached the top of Scotland, having done 1,079 miles in 22 and a half hours. And we raised a little bit short of £3,000. What's that? $5,000. And it's just like, wow. And I found out, which really, really upset me. Her daughter has been badly bullied. She's been self-harming. And a 7-year-old. Oh my God, it just broke my heart. I mean, I did a video, I was crying. I was just so upset. And so what we're going to do, I bought a load of stuff for her. We're still looking for this mobility scooter because I know nothing about them. And I need her. Anyway, we've got to deal with the council and blah, blah, blah to get certain things installed. So it's nothing's easy going sometimes when you're dealing with certain organizations. And we've decided we're going to ring fence a sizable chunk of the money so we can give experiences for the daughter. I've teamed her up with a charity called My Time for Carers, so they look after her. And we also want her to get involved with horses. She loves horses. So, a couple of times a month, she'll be able to go out and groom horses and maybe even ride them. So I've paired them up with that as well. So
wonderful.
Yeah. And it's just, and I thought, wow, what an adventure. So we're now planning on doing London to Beijing, which is 13,000 miles on some of the highest roads in the world. I've just done a first aid course yesterday. I'm going to be doing an extreme first aid course as well. And it's just mad. So we're looking at that in about 2 years' time. And again, I'll do that for charity. Things like that, I always say, if it's a waste, if you're not raising awareness of something. Anyway, so yeah.
Well, that's just incredible, and I so appreciate you taking charge of that and being a force for this family. Well, again, researching you and trying to encapsulate the totality of your life into an hour is a challenge.
Yeah, good luck with that.
You're an author, you've been this brand strategist who's worked for many well-known names around the globe. You're a coach's coach, you're a humanitarian, you're an athlete, and you have your own personal story, which is really compelling. And you make it sound very seamless right now. Here's where we are. We need to be a service and help people in the world, but it hasn't always been that way for you, or has it? You had a moment.
It's been a complete mess, complete chaos. So yeah, I did a lot of things in my life. Run marathons, triathlons, ultras, all this kind of stuff. Had a lot of health issues, not a lot of health issues. I had an aneurysm, and I'm now, in about 3 weeks' time, about to have a heart operation. Which is I've got a leaky heart valve. It's fine. It's a repair. 6 weeks of healing. Then I'm back, and I'll start getting back to training. Takes about 3 months to get your base fitness back again. So I can't wait for that. Can't wait to have the energy back. But I know reason that energetically, if you look on a universal way, it's the energy of what I've bled myself so much out there, given so much of myself, and it's now time for I need to bring it back to me. Everything has a reason, but everything now is in flow, and hence I wrote this book, which you read.
It's a beautiful book. I love the book.
And it's also simplicity success, life in flow, and it's my story. And call this divine intervention, but everything I do now, I tune in to what wants to come through. Elizabeth Gilbert wrote a brilliant book called Big Magic. Elizabeth Gilbert did the film Eat, Pray, Love, and lots of other things. Brilliant author, love the woman. And she says, the energy of ideas, and they will come through to you. It's whether you act on them or not is up to you. If they come to you, I would suggest you do act on them. But if you don't, someone else will pick them up. So you might have an idea and not act on it, but then year down the line, week, whatever, hey, that was my idea. Someone else has done it. Yeah, it came to you. You didn't do anything with it. It's gone on to someone else. So almost like it has a form. Yeah. So this book came to me. Well, the process came to me. It's 6 steps, and it's really how I live my life now. How I teach my clients to do this, and it's just phenomenal. Now, I'm purely the conduit for this. I'm just the postman, if you want to say. I came through this, and the idea came through, and I thought, well, this is all the chaos I've been. So just briefly, we have three very simple things in the universe. We're born out of chaos. So we have chaos. If we look at a storm that happens on the planet, all the stuff, the destruction, whatever, but it's all meant to be. I mean, we are kind of damaging the planet. I run an environmental initiative as well.
Yes.
It talks a lot about that. We're campaigning for less plastic in the seas and blah, blah, blah. So you look at the chaos of a storm and things like that, and it looks so chaotic, but it's all meant to be. You know, the planet, David Attenborough did a beautiful program called The Perfect Planet. So we have chaos and then we have order. And in between we have flow. So when you recognize when there is order, everything just is it should be. And then we have chaos, which is, you know, the crazy stuff sometimes, but it all seems to work. And then in the middle, it's the flow. It's that light, it's the space between the light and dark. But what happens in life? We run by your ego, which is all in the head. And the ego is an egotistical construct. It's, you know, it doesn't exist. We're never in control. And if people say we are in control, what happens when you get an illness? Can you control that? No. The universe will kick your ass anytime it wants.
True.
And when you try and control too much, it will kick it and it will whack you even louder until you sit up and listen. So what happens? And I've had this, you read my book, the chaos that I was in, the relationships I was attracting, and all the crap that was coming my way. And I just did not listen until that one day I ended up in a police cell. I was like, okay, I'm all about freedom. I run my own business. I run everything. It's all about freedom. So I had all that taken away from me. The people in the prison cells, it wasn't prison, it was just a police cell. Someone actually said to me, so you went to prison? No, I didn't go to prison. That's a whole court case and everything. I just went to a police cell, totally different. Anyway, still, I've never been arrested before. And they do all the DNA and your fingerprints and your photos. And, you know, I was like, well, this is, anyway. So, and I talk about it in the book. And it was that moment I'm listening to all the people in all the other cells kicking off all their chaos. Mm-hmm. And this was the universe saying to me, I'm going to take all of this away because you have not been listening. And I remember standing there in this 10-foot by 10-foot cell, looking up and going, I get it. Mm-hmm. I surrender. So this was 5, 6, 7 years ago now.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And since that moment of surrendering, and when you surrender, you release control and you come back into that flow. Mm-hmm. And so one of the biggest questions in the book is, what is your life telling you about you right now? Where are you holding on to it too tightly? And I talk about the universal flow. Everything is flowing downstream. Now, we're all in the same stream. We're all heading south. You know, we're all going to die. But it's whether you choose to put boulders in the way, that's the ego, or also where you stop flow, wherever you hold on to money, things like that. You hold on to stuff. And it's no, because you're frightened, you're scared. And I see that as that you look at a beautiful river. I mean, I've been to Everest and climbed all over all the place, and you see these amazing rivers, these glacial waters, and they're beautiful, crystal clear. But you always see a little bit on the side, and they're like a dead pond. It's sort of scum on the top. Nothing is flowing in there, and it's the same with life. When you're holding on to stuff too tightly, you're either in that swamp, as it were, or nothing's moving, or you're putting massive boulders. Everything's still flowing, but it's a hell of a mess. Mm-hmm. So when you recognize that.
So do all of us have to have a moment in jail, or to have an aneurysm, or you found out you didn't even know you had an aneurysm?
No, that was by accident. And, you know, I was like, oh, okay, I'll be fine. I'll be out of hospital, no problem. And I see this guy in front of me die. And his aneurysm burst in his chest, and I just scared the living doodah out of me. We got someone coming in.
Yeah, we do. Carrie's going to listen, and then we'll see if.
Hey, Carrie. So yeah, this guy dies in front of me, and that was a massive wake-up call, because I was thinking, yeah, you know, I'm Superman, all the rest of it, you know, young, dumb, and full of enthusiasm, and just crazy. So. And again, I didn't fully listen. It was only that time where I ended up in a police cell, not a prison cell, police cell. I went, okay, I get it. I completely surrender. So that all came about to writing this Simplicity of Success, Life and Flow, to the 6 stages.
Yes.
So Yeah, no, you don't have to. The whole purpose of me putting this book out there, and again, I'm just a conduit for that. And it's just, you can read it in one sitting. The feedback I'm getting from it is phenomenal. Even from
Well,
people
it's
who
an
haven't
amazing
heard of
book.
it.
By the way, if you just tuned into the show, my guest is Simon Jordan. We're talking about principles in his book, The Simplicity. Well, it's not The Simplicity of Success. You're a brand expert, a coach's coach. You're a humanitarian. You're an athlete, a very modest one. You're a lover of the planet, and you care about contributing on all levels. There's so much to how you show up in the world. You have a lot of energy, but you're very
Yeah,
focused
I do
now
give
on
out a
how to
lot.
stay in the flow. And so talk a little bit more about this piece about surrender, because I think that's where a lot of people get stuck.
Yeah, well, I quote this guy, Michael Singer, who wrote a beautiful book called The Surrender Experiment. I send it to all my clients and say, read it. I send them my book as well. But it's essentially, in the 70s, he was just this hippie, just wanted to meditate, wanted to quieten the voice. And he started getting these messages, and opportunities would arise. He'd be like, no, I don't want to do that. I just want to meditate. Just want to, live in the woods and just relax. And they kept getting, again, messages.
Yes.
But the ego was getting in the way. There's him flowing. He's like, no, I don't want to be on here. I want to be over that part of the river. And so I'll talk about the river, because I see the universe as the universal flow. We're all flowing downstream, but some of us are not happy with our own boat. We want to be over there. And again, we're trying to control it. And we are never in control. We just should shut up and relax, take the ego out of it, and just let it happen. Pull the oars in. The thing is, the universe always has your back. We're born out of love. The universe is the love is phenomenal when you tune into it, but we get in our way. I really pick up on clients of mine who say, I get them to coach them about video, to doing some video. Oh, I hate my face on video. Would you say that to your child? No, don't say that. It's terrible. Anyway, so it's about stepping out of that and just anyway. So in this book, he talks about all these opportunities, and he decided to actually start saying yes to things. Long and short of it, he ended up running a multi-billion-dollar company. So stepping out of the ego, listening to what wants to go on. So the biggest message, or the biggest question I have in the book, is, what is your life telling you about you right now? Where are you holding on to it too tightly?
I like
if you
that.
like a hose pipe, do you call it a hose pipe in the States?
So, do I call it what?
A hose pipe, when you're watering your lawn.
Oh, yeah, similar, yes.
Yeah. So basically, if you hold it tight, it stops the flow, or it disrupts it.
Mm-hmm.
So where there is struggle in your life, or there's stress, those are indicators it's not right. And what happens when we have chaos, order, and flow? That's the sweet spot you want to be in. But what happens when we get a bit too much chaos? We step over order and surrendering and a flow. We create control. I've got to be in control. OCD, people like that, it becomes too extreme. And what happens is that more and more things will go wrong. We've all, and I say this in the book, we've all heard of some person or a distant relative or whatever that lived to 110, but they drank a bottle of whiskey a day. I'm exaggerating a bit, but they're kind of like, how? And you get someone else who has to do 10,000 steps a day, and they have to eat such and such food. They have to do this, and this, and their life is so regimented. And I get it for some people, and I quote to some people in the book who I've lost, sadly, from cancer and stuff like that. But when you try and control it too much, it creates restrictions, and you're not in flow. Again, you're putting boulders in the river. Everything flows beautifully. If you look at the planet, the storms, how weeds can crack through concrete. They don't have to fight. If we are fighting, trying to get everything, because in that, I get it, we feel safe, and I was like that as well. And when I tried to control, the universe would calling chaos, normally out of relationship. But when we just just relax back into it. So briefly, I'll take you through. Do you want me to take you through the 6 stages?
Sure. Before you jump into the 6 stages,
sure.
I want to see Carrie Gorgolin. Well, Carrie has joined us from the San Francisco Bay Area, and I want to see if she has a question or a comment for you, because she tends. Oh, there you go, Carrie. Hi, welcome. You're joining Simon and I.
Yes, I'm delighted to be here. I'm actually between appointments, and I was hoping to even get a sliver of this because I really liked what it looked like and how it felt when I read your piece on what you were doing today together with Simon. And I think that the thing that rises up for me hearing what was just being described by Simon about flow is, do you practice something in particular other than getting out of your own way? Is there a manner that you hold yourself, or a way in which you step into that mindfulness and focus on a daily basis without having it be a focus? It seems a little contradictory in some
Carrie,
ways, because I know some people carve out.
No, absolutely. I don't know if you're still on there.
I think we got your question, but yeah.
Carrie, brilliant question. I check in with myself. I don't spend hours watching a floating candle or listening to whales making love or any of that kind of stuff. I don't do that.
You're not a floating candle guy.
We all have busy lives. So I've got 2 dogs. I walk them twice a day, and after this, I'm going to take them around the fields. I just stop and I just think, how does it feel? So the 5th stage of my process of 6 stages is stop. So many have lost connection with their intuition. All of the answers I say to my clients, you've got all the answers in here, all in your head or outside. It's just tuning into that. What feels right? And when you go through this process, you think, that doesn't feel right. What am I doing? But why are my finances out of whack? Why is my relationship out of whack? Everything has a reason. If your relationships aren't working out and you hear so many people go, I keep attracting the wrong person, I keep attracting the horrible man who cheats on me, whatever, they are perfect for you in that moment. And so if you go about your life with a sense of love, of wonder, of gratitude, I talk about underpinning your life with gratitude, even for the really crap stuff. If your back is against the wall, fantastic, you've got something to push back off. But have gratitude for that, because it's a lesson. I mean, I've gone bankrupt, all this stuff, it's phenomenal. But they've all been fantastic. So when I ended up in that police cell, I had deep gratitude for that. I remember I was going for a drink with my brother a week later. I was let out. I was nothing, I was acquitted, obviously. And he said, so how was it? God, you okay? And I went, it was amazing. I went, are you mad? It's like, yeah, okay, maybe a bit of that. We are related. But I said, but it finally, I got it. And ever since then, everything changed. So going back to your question, it's about just checking in with yourself, listening to what feels right. And when you get in touch with that gut feeling, and we are so distracted. So in the book, there's a meditation download which you can get for free. And it's not about me saying, okay, sit and hum and all the rest of it. It's just about tuning in to that place. I call it the isness, where there is no dialogue. You can be totally present. And it's just you. In fact, you almost separate yourself. You're looking out of the eyes of, well, who is this person? And it's in that moment where there is no dialogue of, oh, I'm breathing like this, or there's a cloud coming over. No, there's nothing. And it takes a while to do that. But I mean, sometimes I just stop and look at the clouds move, or the birds, or just the trees, and it's basically being mindful and tune into that space. And so many things have been born that have just exploded amazingly. This book came out of that space. I created a book last year which raised a ton of money. I do a lot I wild swim all throughout the year, and I photographed all my local swimmers, and we raised a ton of cash for a local mental health charity. How that came about, I remember getting incredibly emotional putting it together, because I thought it was so easy. It was easeful. All the stuff I've done for charities and things like that, where there is struggles, you think, well, that doesn't feel quite right. So what are you doing? What are you putting out there into the universe? So, if you are attracting money issues, what's your relationship with money? Maybe you need to just surrender a bit more, because really, what's the worst can happen? Really. And it's just,
well, it is interesting to me because I know early in the book you talk about you learned how to get fit. I mean, it looked like you lost half your body weight at one point. And
yeah, I did. I was 300 and I don't know what it is in pounds, but I was big. And guys, if you're only watching this, I could stand in the shower and parts of me wouldn't get wet. So you worked that one out.
Oh, that's a true confession. But some of the things you're talking about really take a strong mind And you make it seem seamless, and I know it isn't, and you've described it very well, how we can surrender, but it takes a strong mind to be able to have such gratitude and shift like that, or go into mindfulness, because you described something that Eckhart Tolle actually says, to just be in the moment, look around you, see what's going on. But have you always been that way? And the reason I brought up the weight loss is because that takes a lot of focus.
Yeah, I did. I don't really mention that in the book, but I do mention that on the site, I think. Yeah, I was huge, and then I was on drugs. Cocaine was my demon. And yeah, I just binge. I hated myself. I was an abused child, and it all came to the surface. I hated myself. Life was like, it was a battle. It was dog eat dog, and it just all led me. So I needed to go through all those horrible moments to get to the point where, wow, it's so, if the fact you're watching this now, isn't that amazing? That you've had the skills to earn the money and the connections, that people like you enough to be able to buy, to give you money for your services, to buy the computer or the phone or whatever you're doing. Isn't that amazing that someone else has also had the intelligence to create that phone for you to buy it? And we always think, it's gratitude, it's got to be this. No, you can start the clothes you're wearing. I mean, I don't watch terrestrial TV. I love watching movies, and you think, isn't this amazing? They've spent hundreds of millions sometimes putting a movie together, so I can sit there and go to the cinema or whatever, pay $20 or whatever to watch a film. Isn't that amazing? And it's not about going through life going, isn't everything wonderful, because you're gonna go a bit mad after a while. But it's also looking at the dark stuff as well. I mean, it's like, you've got to get the rain and all that. It's just a wave. And there's a quote in the book. I probably won't be able to find it now, but it's essentially, the more gratitude you have, the more things will come in your life to have gratitude for. And it is so true. And it is, when you look at it and go, isn't this amazing? We all have an opportunity every morning. Start with hope. Otherwise, you wouldn't get out of bed. It's another day. It's a possibility. What can you achieve if you're living and breathing and above ground? You can do something. Yeah.
Simon, can I ask you a specific question about communing?
Sorry, communing.
Communing, because what you're describing, I love, and I'm going to be really transparent for.
Yeah, please do.
Hopefully, I want to stay in this, because you're hitting on a few really important points for me, and one of them is, I love what you just described, which is to look at yourself from outside of yourself and just witness, what am I doing? How am I being that is causing resistance or magnetizing something that may not be working for me, or that I'm feeling is a rub or isn't in alignment or flow. So in those moments, of course, that intuitive piece, or sitting back and recognizing that I have to feel into myself, but look at it from outside myself all at the same moment.
Yeah.
Do you have a mechanism of community that surrounds you, that you go to when you really want to marinate in that and keep that going? Because sometimes I can be in those states, and I think the world around kind of looks at me like, is she on something? Because I love those moments and I want to be in them. And as an adult being, as a kid, hopefully we get rewarded. And sadly, it sounds like you didn't in those moments. And I'm sorry that you experienced that.
No, don't be sorry. I'm grateful for them. I'm grateful for every bit of crap in my life.
I can tell as a mom. It's just my mama bear heart speaking. But yes, I agree with you. I was taken from my mom for some years growing up, and it was that time when my life actually came to be. And so I relate to it. And as an adult, I really love the idea of having others, tribe that resonates in all this and plays in it and celebrates it, because sometimes doing it alone can feel, a little lonely, and sometimes that serves a purpose, and others I really want to celebrate and be in more of that space with other people.
So brilliant question. So as energy resonance, okay, so I'm going to get all scientific on a subatomic level. we're going to talk about quantum physics briefly. On a subatomic level, everything is energy. So the human body resonates at 75 megahertz, the same as an avocado, ladies. So, so it's all good. There must be some kind of distant relative with me. I don't know. But so in the book, I talk about, and they did an experiment years ago, very strange experiment, but they had a room and they had tuning forks, you know, that when you hit them, and they picked up the key of A, hit that. None of the other keys, tuning forks, vibrated apart from the other A's. So when we resonate, and I talk, let's have a look, see if I can quickly find it. One moment, caller. There we go. So in there, so I don't know if you can see the picture. So
Yes.
Whatever we resonate at. So if our predominant thoughts are one of hate, anger, mistrust, we will attract more of that, like the tuning forks. If we resonate in the key of A, we will attract other people who will, you know, will add to that energy resonance of hate, mistrust, or whatever it is. But if we start our days going, wow, this is another day, another opportunity, what's going to happen today? Who am I going to meet? You start to other people who are a bit like you, call them woo-woo, hippies, whatever you want to call us, they will come into your life. I've got a client at the moment, and I'm coaching him through a process. He's writing this book, and he's doing this big section on love and forgiveness. And he's now getting, because he had a very difficult childhood. He's an amazing hypnotherapist. So good, in fact, he had to have his leg amputated many years ago. He didn't use any drugs. He hypnotized himself. So if that isn't someone who is amazing, so anyway, I know, incredible, absolutely amazing story. You should get him on it. So I don't recommend that to everyone. So he is now attracting into his life clients who are also dealing with love and forgiveness. So when you when you resonate at those thoughts levels, so it be it gratitude or this sense of wonder, you will get more of that in your life. I guarantee it. You know, we are not singular items. We don't live on our own universe. We all resonate off each other. And when you learn that, the second part of this process is about acceptance and responsibility. Now, this is a big hit for some people, and you have to take 100% responsibility for everything in your life, your health, everything. You might walk out in the street and some guy in a car might cut you out. What the hell's all that about? You have resonated of mistrust or, oh, people are out to get me, and they will come in and go, there you go, see, it's true. You know, we've all had that time we've thought about a good friend and then they phone us up. That's not an accident.
Yes.
That's because everything is connected. And I get these all the time. And it's just people show up. I mean, again, in the book, this isn't a big sales pitch because it's just really simple. And that's the whole thing. It's the simplicity of success. But the process is actually, there's a lot of deep work you need to do. But when you fully step into your own power and self-love, you're like, anything is possible. It really is. You know, how I got this house where we are now, we had 6 weeks to move. I was like, what? And most people, when they have something like that, they go, well, I don't want this and I don't want that. No, I really pull up clients in this because I say, well, what do you want? And they go, well, I don't want this. I'm like, no, I didn't ask you what you want. You don't want what you want. Again, resonate what you want to come back. You know, who was it? Gandhi said, be the difference you want to see in the world. Something like that. So when we got this house, we made a checklist of all the things we wanted and we just put it out there and let it go. First house that my partner saw had everything. I mean, it's ridiculous. We had a gym, a yoga room, and we had a place for the dogs. The dogs have their own bedroom. What? You know, ridiculous. You know, we're literally 10 minutes from the beach. All this kind of stuff. And when I'd just come back from climbing the highest mountain in North Africa, and I thought, that's a holiday for me. I really want to do something. I fancied kayaking down the Yukon in Canada. And I thought, yeah, but that's all about me. I want to do something on the water, but it's giving back because I've run an environmental initiative called 5 Things Clear. Within 1 week, I think it was less than 1 week, this guy from Hungary contacted me and said, I've seen what you're doing with the environmental project and sea plastics. Do you want to come over to Hungary, spend 10 days, we make a boat and we sail it 70 kilometers down the River Tisa with 200 other people, and it's a whole competition and blah, blah. And we cleared up over 10 tons of single-use plastic. And I was like, was that an accident? No, it wasn't. I then, another time, and again, when you're in flow, another time I thought, well, I do marketing and branding. That's what I do. I run a digital marketing agency. And I thought, wouldn't it be great if I could apply my passions and my knowledge to help someone who's creating a product to help the world. So this guy from LA, I had no connection with him whatsoever, apart from the universal way. And he's actually Russian, but living in LA. He's a scientist. Himself and his business partner, they've created this cup called Cuppo, which is 100% recyclable. It's food grade silicon. And we rebranded it. We gave it a new name and blah, blah, blah. We've done the market. It's selling on Amazon and that kind of stuff. It's only available in the USA. But again, that came about because I just put it out there. And so many things. I have a list of all the clients on my wall. And clients buy into me for a year. We do all the branding and coaching and blah, 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 build them out. And then they'll finish with me and I go, oh, well, I've got a space on there. So who would I like to work with? So I think, okay. And again, coming at it from a place of, oh, it's not, oh my God, I've got less money coming in. I go, great, I've got a bit of space. I've got an opportunity. Resonate, energy resonance. So I put that out and every single time, and this has happened now for the last 3 or 4 years. So it's not an accident. Every time, literally, if I have 2 spaces, 2 new clients come in. I don't market. I don't go out there. I don't do Facebook advertising. It just happens. So when you come from that place, and I talk about this book being, there it is, this book being the missing piece. If you've watched or read The Secret or bought the duvet set or everything, I mean, Rhonda Byrne's done everything. It's a brilliant book, but so many people go, yeah, but it doesn't work. This is the missing piece, because you have to take full responsibility for everything in your life right now, strip it right back. And when you look at it differently, change the energy, then it starts to happen.
Well,
beautiful. And what was that
there's
book,
one
Simon?
piece that's a little bit different for you, and you, I'm sure you see this in your coaching clients, but you seem to execute tasks without, I mean, you think it, you do it.
Absolutely.
And most people don't. So
how
do we all, because I'm thinking about the causes that you participate in, and most of us think, yes, I want to save the world, I want to stop the environmental catastrophes and this and that, and you're doing that in some measure. So how do we get from thinking it to doing it?
Because the idea will come up to me. Carrie, you just had a question before then. What were you going to ask?
Yes, I didn't catch the book that you just held up, and I think I missed it.
Sorry.
Simplicity of Success.
So it's called The Simplicity of Success, Life in Flow.
Thank you. Beautiful. Yes.
The website, simplicityofsuccess.com. It's on Kindle. It's really cheap. It's you can read it in one sitting. It's 52 pages. It's really simple. So
how do we get from thinking to doing? Because
so it's just okay. So my 5 Things Clear initiative. That is 5 years old now. So I was in this space and just thinking, you know what, I want to do something. At the moment, it's all about, okay, helping people and the ripple effect, and I'm earning good money from it. Great. But I've got other talents. I'm here. I've always known from a very young age that I'm here for something bigger. And I went onto my local beach. I was living in North Wales in the mountains. I went down to my local beach and I saw this little bird called a Manx shearwater. And I don't know if you have it over in the States, but your milk bottles, your big plastic containers, you have a cap, and then you have this locking ring. And if you look at it, it looks like a medieval torture thing. It's all covered in spikes. So one of these was on this bird's head. Can't tell you, I picked it up, took it to the vets, and it died. And I got really upset. I remember going to the toilet crying. I went, this is just wrong. We have created that. So that was the first message from the universe. I say the universe, call it God, Allah, Buddha, whatever you want to say. Anyway, so I'm at home, I'm living on a farm, and I watched this video of this whale that's come into a port, a harbour, and it's not moving. So they have to kill it to get it out of the way, because this thing is huge. They pull it out and it's filled with plastic bags. So I'm like, this is unbelievable. On the Sunday, so this all happened on the Saturday. On the Sunday, the third message, they always seem to come in threes. I'm on this big beach. It's a big surfers beach in North Wales called Hell's Mouth. Beautiful long beach. Lots of surfers out there. I'm there with the dogs, and I'm seeing all this stuff washed up. And I'm thinking, all these people come to the beach like they do down here, and they go, oh, it's fantastic, and isn't it wonderful? But they're not picking it up. And I think they think it's overwhelmed. It's too much. And there's a great story about hundreds of thousands of starfish gets washed up on a beach, and this young boy is picking them up, throwing them back. And this old boy turns up and he says, "That's you can't save them all. How's that going to do any good?" And he picks one up and says, "Well, I'm helping that one." And I think so. This whole comes to me, and again, just being in that space of openness and going, what wants to come through? And tuning into that gut feeling, that not being shut off, just being open, having an open mind. And it just came to me, well, look, if everyone just picked up 5 things, we'd clear the beach. 5 things clear. So I go back that night, I set up an Instagram account. Again, idea, action. Don't just talk about it, oh, this would be good, just do it. And if it doesn't work, great, you've learned something. So I do this, I set up an Instagram account, and in less than 7 weeks, it went global. I had people sending me images with they created designs of 5 things clear. So it's hashtag number 5 things clear, from as far as Japan, Russia, Philippines, Canada, all over the States. The following year, we did a massive thing, the 5 things clear challenge. You remember the ice bucket challenge, which was just crap for wasting water. So this was pick up 5 things and nominate 5 other people. It went massive in Europe. I mean, we had a German pop band who were huge over there. I'd never heard of them. Politicians getting involved. Right. We then I teamed up with this guy the following year. After that, we did the Million Police Pickup Pledge. We had 550 people all picking it. It was with using this app. This guy in LA called Jeff, brilliant guy, called Literati. This app was called Literati, and they were picking it all up. And it exploded. Then, okay, 2020 happened, and not much happened. But I work with the local mayor here. There's so much going on, and it's amazing. We've now a single-use plastic-free community. We've achieved that. And you know what? If someone else wants to set up 6 things clear or 4 things, I don't care. Just go out and do it and have a mission. So I organise beach cleans here every 3rd Sunday of the month. We've got a coffee shop which gives coffee or hot drinks to all the volunteers. You know, most we have over 100 people turned up one day. I'm like, wow, you know. So I supply all the gear, and again, it's just easeful.
Well, you make it sound easy. When I hear you talk about it, I'm like, yes, I can do this. I just what he's saying, yes, it's all resonant. It's like, yes, this is how it works. But somehow
we get in our way, and an idea will come through, and you go, oh, I don't know about that. Who's saying that? That's your ego.
Yeah.
No, I have to walk because I might fail. I might look stupid. Can I do that? If it's come to you, hell yeah, you can do it. Or you learn how to do it. You know, all the stuff I've done, it's just, you know, we're now looking at doing, so we did this 1,000 miles and raised nearly $5,000 for this woman who was terminally ill. Our next adventure is going on the motorbikes from London to Beijing. That's 13,000 miles riding the highest roads on the planet. I've been up to Everest and stuff like that, and it's like, that's mad. And I'm thinking, can I do that? Hell yeah, let's go for it. You know, and we will do it to raise awareness of something. I haven't quite worked it out yet. It'd be good to, but it'll be big, and we will make it big.
Now, I know you've got a family, you've got children. How old are your kids at this point?
20 and 18.
Oh, okay. Did they participate with you?
No, well, they live with their mother, Mars. They live up in Scotland, so
okay.
Yeah, they probably see their dad going, "This is crazy."
Well, I mean, have they taken on any of your humanitarian goals or aspirations?
Yeah, no, they have. They get it. They do get it. You know, they are very tuned into that. My boys very much about Greenpeace and looking at that, which is fantastic. I've spoken at a lot of schools around here, and I run competitions. There's a big exhibition down at the Bay, which some of the posters the kids have done for me, or for the initiative of displaying down there. But yeah, it's and again with ideas. This is a marketing thing. If you're going to create something, it needs to cover 3 things: easy to understand, easy to get involved, and easy to share. So 5 things clear. It's like pick up 5 things. That's it, and you can tell anyone. You know, if someone asks you a month from now, what's this 5 things clear thing, you'll be able to tell it. Yeah. So, you know, don't make it complicated, really simplify it, and just hence the book and why it's so thin and easy to read.
I guess this is why you're a branding expert, because I mean, it's all about simplicity, and you seem to have mastered that. The rest of us get in our own way and don't know how to be simple. Have to
it's just, and I love, Carrie just said, I love you're crazy, it rocks. Yeah, but it is, you know, everyone struggles, everyone has their issues, but it is about embracing it. And I see a lot of people, I work with a lot of clients who, so externally it looks fantastic, and I went years faking it till you make it and all that BS, and behind the scenes it was terrible. And I didn't believe in myself. I didn't love myself enough. And it's funny, I've asked 3 of my clients, 3 women, I've said, do you love yourself? Look, well, I know you don't. this is one thing you have to do, because until you love yourself, the world will not follow suit. When you do, and it's not about vanity and well, it's not, you know, bad looking after yourself, but when you love yourself, the world will follow suit. So you have to do that, and how you speak to yourself. And it's just, and when you do that, and I've got clients who I'm working with at the moment, so they've had issues with not attracting the right clients, or there's a bit of a drought in terms of financial, because they're not fully stepping into their power. And I get funny, I interviewed a lady today who's huge in the business world, and she talks about, a bit like Brené Brown, a bit being vulnerable. But there's Brené Brown. She has totally stepped onto that. She is honest, authentic, and real, and she loves herself. And consequently, she's, you know, hugely successful. So your success is, you are limiting your success. So when you step into your power, and I've said to some clients, you know what, you maybe don't even need any brand and marketing. Obviously, you need to be out there telling the world and showing what you do, because you've got to leave you don't want to be the best kept secret. When you fully step out there, it's like, wow, who is this person? And it's amazing. And I'm living proof of that. And the clients I work with are living proof of that. And it's just, and it's beautiful. It's almost like you package them up and go, there you go. And the world goes, wow. And they come flocking, all to do with energy. But, you know, we package them up. So they're, one of the things I do is, because I do a lot of personal branding, and make sure that their website is a direct representation of who they are. And so many people, they'll have a website and you meet them and go, but your website looks like you're a Bond villain. You know, it's all like black and white and very moody. It's great if that's the kind of person you are. But if you're actually someone who's full of life and great fun to work with, well, then if you are the face of your business should represent that. Because what it does, it gets the right people resonating with you. You will attract the right people. It'll also get rid of the guys and the ladies with the tire kickers. So, oh no, she's probably a bit too out there for me, or just she's a bit too serious, or whatever your brand is. So it's everywhere you put your energy signature, or in marketing we call them the touch points. So your business card, your Facebook profile, your LinkedIn, your Instagram, all of those, your website has to be a direct representation of who you are. So that's what I do with my clients. And then we put it out there, and I make sure they have the right energy going forward. That's why, you know, the secret works. All of that stuff works if you're coming from the right place. So there you go. I'll take a breath now.
Oh, it's okay. Carrie might have one more question. So the best place to get the book, Simplicity of Success, is that on Amazon? Do you want people to go to your website?
Yeah, it's on there. It's on Amazon all over the world. It's on Amazon at the moment, and then where are we now? In January, it's then available in all bookshops all across the planet. Yeah. So we've gone exclusively with Amazon. They do a deal. You know, I don't get too involved with that. My publisher did all that. So it's,
I do have a quick question, Simon.
Yeah,
Are you
do
you do Audible? Because I mean, your voice has a resonance and an energy to it.
I am going to be doing that. I am doing that. It will, yeah, I absolutely will be doing that. So it will be everything. I might even do a Braille version.
I love that. Why not?
Of course you are. You have to touch every piece of the human experience, clearly.
Yes, I will be doing Audible. So yeah, it's on Kindle. It's it's in paperback. But if you want to go to, because I'm also in January, I'm launching a 6-week program. So it's a deep dive. So it's an online program. It's a deep dive because there are certain things which will people go, how do I do that? What do I do? And everyone's situation is slightly different, but I strip it back, and it's a real deep immersion. But when you learn this process, and again, I'm just a conduit. It's just been given to me. It works. I promise you, it works. It's not some sort of snake oil.
Absolutely, Simon. I'm very interested in your 6-week course. So do I just go and put myself
go to Simplicity? It's just simplicityofsuccess.com.
Okay.
Simplicityofsuccess.com, and you just register and leave your details. Email me, and I'll put you on there. Great.
Lovely. Phyllis, I'm so delighted you connected us.
Yes, of course.
Thank you, Carrie. I appreciate your time. You could have been doing something else, but again, more gratitude, more comes into
Yeah. So I just had to mute. There was some background noise, Carrie, but so go to Simplicity of Success, and people can find out about the 6-week course as well.
Yeah, simplicityofsuccess.com. It's all on there. It's part of my website. So yeah, it's all on there, but it's on Amazon. Just search for it, and then you'll.
Well, and I have to say, I really enjoyed the book. I read a lot of these books from different spiritual types, and it's right to the point. You didn't miss a lick, and it's under 50 pages, and it's all in there, everything you need to know. I thought it was a fantastic book, and I'm so appreciative that you took time to be here today, and for all the work you're doing on the planet and everything you're putting out there. I just really appreciate
back
it.
at you. The mutual, we'll be in the Mutual Appreciation Club, but I Carrie, you for joining as well. It's but isn't it wonderful? You just connect how you connect. I mean, who knows who's going to watch this and think I'm a bloody idiot, or just think, oh, God, this man.
Hardly.
Yeah.
Hardly.
But you never know where it goes. So when the opportunities arise, grab it, because you do not know where that can lead you to. Namaste to you as well, Carrie. Thank you for your message. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Simon. It's just an absolute pleasure and joy to have met you. And again, thank you for everything and for being here today.
And to you too. Really appreciate your time. Thank you. And everyone who watches this in the future, just, it's an old line, but when it's cliche, but one life and live it. What can you do? What do you want in life? It just, yeah, it's magical if you make it so.
Yes. And you've shown us how. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye now.